Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be discussing Codeforces problem B which came on the contest yesterday. The problem name is B circle game. Okay, the constraints are given to us are that the time limit is 1 second and the memory limit is 256 MB. Okay, and we have given standard input and output. Okay, first let's read the question. Mike and Joe are playing a game with some stones, specifically they have n piles of stones of size A1, A2 and AN. These piles are arranged in a circle. The game goes as follows. Player takes a turn removing some positive number of stones from the pile in the clockwise order starting with pile 1. Formally, if a player removes stones from pile I on a turn, the other players remove stones from the pile I mod n plus 1. Okay, he's saying that the player, if with taking the stones from the pile in a clockwise manner, and if the player chooses the ith stone, then the next player will choose the I modern plus one stone on the next turn. Okay, and modern is used so that we could travel in clockwise order. Okay, if a player cannot remove any stones on their turn because the pile is empty, they lose the mic, they lose the game. Okay, he's saying that if the player cannot remove the stones means that the player which in the player if the player is trying to access a stone which is empty, then he will be declared as the loser and the other player is declared as the winner. Okay, and the Mike goes first. He has also given the constraint that Mike will go the first and Zone will go on the second. And input is given to us is the first line contains the number of text cases and the rest first line contains the single integer n and then n a1 a2 n an. Okay, and we have to print whoever the person wins the game. Okay, so see, the question is based on approach that if the n is given to us is odd. Okay, let us consider that the ns that is given to us is odd. Okay, okay, see, odd. So see, let's just consider 5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, or consider 3 only. Okay, see, if this is given to us, then we know that the first stone will be taken by Mike. Okay, so it will be taken by Mike, and next stone will be taken by Zoe, and next one will be taken by Meg. Okay, so if you will see that if the Mike, we can see that, and the next one will be taken by Zoe because in the clockwise manner, and then Mike and then Zoe. Okay, so see, Mike does not want him to lose. Okay, it's the trend, so he will take away the stone which is available here, and June does not want him to lose, so he will also take away the stone which is here. So if the mic takes away all the stone here, then the leftover stone here will be 0. And in the next iteration, if the Zo comes here and he will find the number of stone is 0. So Zo is the first person who finds that the number of stone here is 0. So he will lose the game and the mic will win the game. Okay. So this is the solution for the problem when the n is given to us is odd. Okay. Because the same person is not occupying the next same position in the next iteration. So for odd we have to just consider if the index is odd is given to us, means if the index is odd, then we will return the answer as Mike because here Joe loses the game. Okay, so let's consider the indexes when the n is even to us, when n is given to us is even. Okay, so let us consider n to be even. Okay, let us consider n to be 4. N is given to us is 4. Okay, we'll consider 4, 3, 2, and you can see that 5. Okay, so see, we have been given that the Mike will start the game. Okay, so Mike will start game here, then comes the turn of the Zoe, then Mike, then Zoe, and then Mike. After this iteration, Mike goes on to the same position where he was in the previous iteration, then Zoe, Mike, Zoe, and the iteration continues. Here the condition is that the same player does not want him to be lose, and we can see that here Mike encounters the same position which he was in the previous iteration. So if the Mike takes away all the stone which is present here, means the Mike takes away all the 4 stones, then in the next iteration Mike will not be left with any stone and he will lose. But Mike does not want himself to be lose. So the player, same as the case you can see that with the Zo also. Same the case is with the Zo. So see, if the Zo takes away all the 5 stones here, okay, then in the next iteration Zo will encounter the same position, and if she encounters that all the 5 stones are taken away, then she will not win the game and she will lose. So but she doesn't want to lose, so the constraint is given. So the approach to this problem is that the person will take the minimal stones while traveling. So person will take the minimum stones. We can see that person has to take 1 stone at a time. So if you can consider, it changes to 3. Joe, Joe takes only 1 stone, so that if she can take all the stones, then she can lose in the next iteration, but she doesn't want to lose, so she will take only 1 stone, and Mike will take 1, then Joe also 1. So in the next iteration you can see that, let's change the color for the second iteration. It will be 2 because it will take 1 stone, it will be 1, and it will be 0, and it will be 3. On the third iteration you can see it will be 1, it will be 0, it will be 0. See, so Mike chooses the stone which is 0, so Mike loses the game here. So the approach is simple. We don't have to run the loop. We will encounter which is the minimum position in the given n when the n is even. Okay, given array n which is in which the given array n in which n is even. Okay, we will find the minimum position. So you can see that here the minimum position is 2. So here the minimum position is 2. You can find it, okay, by running a for loop, and we can check if its index is odd. If the index is odd, then we will declare Joe as the winner, because Mike will always occupy the odd index at each iteration, and this is the minimum index, and this will first go to 0 as compared to the other indexes. So this is the approach, and if this is an odd index, let us consider the 2 is present here. So Joe will encounter in the third iteration 0. So Joe will lose the game and Mike will be discovered as the new winner. So the code of this problem is this. You can see that I have initialized t for that number of test cases c in t, while t minus minus we have initialized the n which is c in n, an array of n. For I equal to 0 I have inputted the array. Okay, it's fine. Then we will check if the odd index is given to us. Then if the odd index is given to us, means that if the n is odd, then it is always the case that the Mike will win the game, and we have to print the player which wins the game. And if this is not the case, then we will find first the minimum element in the ARR which is given to us. Okay, and I found the index. Okay, and now I'm comparing if the index is even, then Joe will win the game, and if it's odd, then Mike will win the game. At last, I'm going to the next line. So thank you, friends. If you like this solution useful, then you can like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Please, friends, like and share my